Do you think when you're building the AI agents or the agentic workflows and this type of thing, do you think it's very different each business or each industry that you're in, like need different things, or do you see like sort of where things sort of cross over, where they still need the same sort of workflows, or do you think is it something completely different each time?
Well, they definitely need the same things, but now what we can do is do them faster, we can do them better, we can free their employees up to do higher level tasks so that the AI agents can do kind of the drudge work, as we say. And it's not about getting rid of the employee. You know, that's our fourth company, our AI company. The whole shtick that we're promoting is we're not here for you to fire your people. We're here to help you allow your people to become more efficient and focus on higher level tasks with, say, a digital intern. So we're kind of approaching it from that angle.
Welcome back to Founders in the Field, the show where I go behind the scenes with agency leaders, consultants, and creative founders to show you how they're building, scaling, and staying sane in the trenches. I'm your host, Stefan Bradley, and today's guest is William Bessette, co-founder and president of the Brillium Group. How are you doing, William?
Doing great, keeping it moving. Life is good.
No, definitely. Let's dive straight in. For people who don't know your story, take us right back to the start of your journey, what made you start your own business, and give us an overview of what your role looks like today at the Brillium Group.
Yeah, absolutely. So, short Cliff Notes version, I was actually a journalist for almost 10 years. I wanted to be a writer, and wrote for magazines for a really long time. Once the internet killed the print media star, as I like to say, to quote a song, I knew I had to shift. And so I said, all right, what am I going to do? I took all of my portfolio work and I went online and began pitching and pitching and pitching to blogs. This was 2011, 2012, back when the blog was everything. Everyone needed and wanted a blog. And before that, just in the middle of that, during that transition, I got a corporate job that I absolutely hated. After being a journalist for 10 years doing my own thing, sitting in a cubicle in a big warehouse type room was just not for me. So I did that for about a year or two, but then I said, I got to get out of here. Left that job and spent 6 to 8 hours a day at the library, pitching, sending my portfolio of work to whichever blog would have me. And I ended up getting clients. One client led to another, and I began as just a freelancer. And then once I got enough clients and I spoke to my partner, I said, hey, we should actually just turn this into a company and incorporate and make this a real full-on agency. It started with copywriting, but a client says, hey, do you also build websites? Oh, hey, do you do marketing? And as a good entrepreneur, you say yes and make it work. So eventually we ended up, after a couple years of me freelancing, we incorporated, we created the Brillium Group, and now, 11 or so years later, we are, doing web design, digital marketing, and then about a year and a half ago, we started getting into use case agent development and business process automation, GEO. We saw the writing on the wall and we knew we've got to get into this. We're actually developing a fourth company right now that's an AI only company. So we did incorporate AI into the Brillium Group, but now we want to have a company that is solely AI that positions us as the experts. So that's kind of brings us to where we are today.
No, it's definitely a journey to go from journalism, and then landed in sort of copywriting for blog posting to now being a full service agency 11 or 12 years later. And now actually looking ahead, you are into getting into, the AI agent automation workflow business process. So it's like you're ever evolving, and now you're even, trying to look at the future because, marketing agency, is one thing, but AI is coming into it so much more. Being able to have your sort of fingers in more pies that's going to still service sort of the same thing is definitely the right way to go. Have you always been innovative in that way, trying to look forward?
We have, and that's why we did this, back when that's why we went from copywriting to copywriting and web design to copywriting, web design and marketing. We're always trying to stay on top of what's happening now, stay relevant. That's what you have to do. Everything is always changing. So we're constantly trying to see, okay, what can we do next? What do we need to do next? What's going to be beneficial for our business in the future? So we are definitely in that future forward mindset, which is why we've gone all in on AI right now and are creating a.
So, what industry does the Brilliant Group serve? Do you have like a niche that you sort of serve more, or is it more broader, or is it like a persona that is your ICP?
You know what? We're really industry agnostic. Our largest client is actually another agency, and we white label our, we fulfill services for them. But then we also have, a huge pecan farm. We have a nail salon in Las Vegas. We have a SaaS company that sells SaaS software to garbage companies. It's all over the place. We really don't have a specific niche. And I think that's because we get a lot of referrals. I'm part of a lot of networking groups. So, when you're in a group and you're advertising your services, you don't know who could come to you saying, I need XYZ. And we'll take it. If we can help them, we'll take it.
Do you think when you're building the AI agents or the agentic workflows and this type of thing, do you think it's very different each business or each industry that you're in, like need different things, or do you see like sort of where things sort of cross over, where they still need the same sort of workflows, or do you think is it something completely different each time?
Well, they definitely need the same things, but now what we can do is do them faster, we can do them better, we can free their employees up to do higher level tasks so that the AI agents can do kind of the drudge work, as we say. And it's not about getting rid of the employee. That's our fourth company, our AI company. The whole shtick that we're promoting is we're not here for you to fire your people. We're here to help you allow your people to become more efficient and focus on higher level tasks with, say, a digital intern. So we're kind of approaching it from that angle. We're also approaching it from what niches need particular services. For example, you take, say, restaurants or restaurant groups. You have a host or a hostess answering the phone all day. Okay, this is our address. Okay, make a reservation. Okay, here's our menu. A voice AI is perfect for that. So now instead of the hostess constantly answering the phone plus talking to new people coming in the door, the voice AI can do all of it on the back end. Take the calls, make the reservations, answer the questions, and it all, we build an API in, and suddenly they don't have to answer the phone for those types of things. So we are definitely trying to dial into specific niches and figuring out what do these niches need. Maybe a restaurant group needs a voice AI. Maybe an HR department in a company needs an AI to help them, go through documentation. So we're definitely approaching it from a use case perspective.
Definitely, I agree. I think AI's most is it gets the most out of when it's doing something that is done over and over again. Like you said, then someone answering the phone 20 times a day, more than that probably, and they're pretty much giving near enough the same information or similar information, or out of five or six different things, it's probably not going to be out of that scope. I think when you can automate that part of it, like you said, freeing up people to do more strategic work, it also allows companies to be able to then scale without hiring. Because effectively, say you have 10 employees, but five of them do something that's very repetitive, or half of their job is very repetitive. If you can take away half their job and allows them to have 50% more time to expand and to learn other things and to be able to scale the business that way, and like you said, work on higher leverage, more strategic work.
Yeah, it creates more efficiency, reduces cost, and allows for scale. Exactly what you said.
Definitely. So, William, can you walk me through how you're currently delivering for clients on a day to day? Like, what is the day to day like work like at Brilliant?
Well, it's a lot of project management. We have staff, of course, and so the day to day is a lot of talking to clients, making sure that projects are getting completed, checking in on deliverables, things like that. Also, sales. We're constantly running new campaigns, trying to win new clients in different verticals, things like that. It's always going through the mountain of emails in the inbox. Every morning is a mountain of emails. I feel like my job is both, making sure everything runs correctly, plus also digging through emails and talking to clients. So that's kind of what the day to day looks like from my perspective and my team's perspective. And I'm very, very, very lucky to have a partner both in business and life who also is our COO and co-founder, and he handles a lot of the operational side of things, which is great.
So you kind of complement each other well. So you handle in sort of sales and sort of client relations and him.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, William, what is working well and where do you feel slight friction inside the business?
Well, I tell you what works well. We have a really, really long lifetime client value. We are we go above and beyond. We will do things extra all the time. We're really, really, really good at keeping clients and not losing clients. We're very good at establishing relationships, creating rapport, and demonstrating value. Now, I would say maybe where bottlenecks come in are implementing new technologies and implementing new products and services. It's always difficult when you're working with new vendors, hiring new people, establishing new techniques and new strategies. So while we're good at it and getting through it, it's always a big uplift. There's a lot of time that goes into this. Like when we decided to pivot into AI, so much time and effort and energy and treasure was put into getting us where we needed to be. So probably on the operational side and implementation side, that's always where we're pushing, 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 but there could sometimes be bottlenecks there.
And I think when you're taking on new clients, with AI implementation, you obviously you price it, you pitch them. Yeah, okay, you get the yes or yes, let's do it. But then it's not until you actually get inside their systems, till you actually see, or inside their business, till you actually see what it looks like under the hood, so to speak. And sometimes that can add on time to implementation and make it, more complex sometimes, can't it? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you're talking about, data reallocation and using the data to be able to fund the AI. Well, you could get into the business and the data is messy. It's everywhere. So you have to spend time then sorting out the data, cleaning it up for then the AI to be able to read the data. So I feel like it's definitely not something you're going through alone. And I feel like this new sort of space into AI that's definitely one of the things that, can slow it down a little bit and how fast you want to do it before you get under the hood to then when you get under the hood can, pull you back a little bit.
Absolutely, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of things that are involved with giving someone an AI tool. If you give this person an AI tool and suddenly this process is sped up, sped up, sped up, now they might have a bottleneck over here because now this department is pushing things through much faster, but this other department is not. So you kind of have to look at it from a holistic perspective. It's not just let's give this department a tool and set it and forget it. You have to take a look at the entire organization because you don't want to give them a tool to create more efficiency here and then they have a bottleneck there. On the other side of it too, we're also really working on the employee side of things. So when we go and we pitch to a client, we say, hey, not only can we help you with implementation, but we have a service where we can go in and help your HR department and your leadership team get your employees on board. We don't want your people to be scared. We don't want them to leave the company or morale to drop because they think AI is going to take their job. So not only can we help you with implementation, but we can help you with your employees and with HR in terms of getting them acclimated and understanding and happy and not worried.
No, 100%. I feel like in this AI era, should we say, set it and forget it is just asking for sort of trouble. I feel like even with any sort of system, whether it's whether it's an automation, whether it's an agent, because not only do they have to use it if something sort of goes wrong is probably the wrong word to say, but something happens where they're like, I don't know what to do at this space, that's just going to cause more confusion. And then you've gone even one step further by actually going, being able to be in there and actually to train the staff on how this system works and how this agent works. It's definitely, like I say, going that one step further, but it also, it makes the process for longevity much more approachable, much more realistic that it's going to happen.
And it answers an important question for them. A lot of times when I talk to people, they're very worried about their employees and how they're going to feel and how this is going to impact them. So when you can go to them and say, hey, we're going to give you a solution, but we're also going to help you with your people, that's a huge draw. Oh, okay, really? Then they're even more interested. It's not just a pitch for technology, it's also a pitch for people.
It's also a better business model as well, as opposed to just making systems and leaving them. Do you know what I mean? Actually be having that support as well. It's a better business. It's better for both worlds, of course, but it's actually a better business model for people who are implementing AI as well, because then you have like ongoing support, ongoing retainer that can optimize the system, optimize the people using the system as well.
Exactly.
So William, where do you want to be in terms of business in the next 12 to 18 months?
Retired. I joke. It would be nice, but no. Yeah. I would love for our fourth company, our AI enablement company, to really blow up and take off and get to enterprise level, and maybe we sell it. That's what's happening right now. We are in a space where people are creating these AI companies, and the next thing you know, you've got the big guys coming in and buying them up. So, it would be nice if we could scale this up to a point where one of the big players say, hey, you've got something really good going on here. Here's millions of dollars. So, that would be really nice.
To get to that level, does that mean hiring more specialists to be able to actually do more, take on more clients, but, be able to sort of build more of a company in the sense of, having more specialists to be able to take on a bigger scope of work, and then it's sort of not as hands-on for you and your partner?
Absolutely. And that's kind of where we're trying to get to. It's going to be a big uplift. We already have people now. We have employees, we have vendors and contractors. But absolutely, we want to get to a point where, we are the higher level overseers from a strategic standpoint, and everyone else is handling implementation. And we do have that to a certain degree right now. But if we can really get things to, like I said, that enterprise level, and sort of everything happens on its own, logically. Mm-hmm. So, absolutely, yes. Bringing on more people, finding the right partners, and staying focused.
And kind of bringing in like more leadership roles to actually oversee the implementers as well. Do you know what I mean? So, like you say, you can take another step back then.
Exactly.
So, William, my last question is: if you could wave a magic wand and fix one thing in your business, what would it be and why?
Oh man, these questions are tough. I'm the type that'll think through something for 10 minutes, but I know we don't have that. Gosh, if I could wave a magic wand, from the sales side, you're always shifting strategy, finding new verticals, adapting to the marketplace. If I had a magic wand, that wand would tell me everything I need to know, and my team needs to know, to sell faster, more higher margin products. I think the sales side is always a tough one for all companies. We are all good at what we do. Well, maybe not all of us, but I'd like to think we are. But it's getting other people on board, especially when they may not be ready, or they may not know that they're ready. So if I had a sales magic wand, that would be fantastic.
I think a lot of people would be on board with that as well, because with sales, you have to test campaigns, you have to test new markets, you have to test all these things. And
Exactly.
if you were able to know that beforehand, I think the advantage would be huge.
It'd be amazing.
So, William, thank you so much for coming on. Where can my viewers and listeners, if they wanted to reach out to you, if they wanted to collaborate and work with the Brilliant Group, where can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. So our website is www.thebrilliumgroup.com, and I know that kind of sounds like brilliant, and I'd like to think we are, but it's not brilliant. It's Brillium. My partner's name is Brandon, and I'm William. Brillium. So you can kind of see how that happened. So it's like William with a BR. So www.brilliumgroup.com. They can reach us there. I'm also William at thebrilliumgroup.com. They can also reach out to Brandon at thebrilliumgroup.com. They can even call us anytime. 503-332-3728 is our phone number.
Well, there you have it, everybody. If you're wanting to reach out to William, then there's his number, there's the website. I'm sure he'd be happy to speak to you about anything of your needs to do with either building AI agents or any sort of. William, thank you again so much. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for coming on.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Please like, comment, subscribe, everybody, and we'll see you next time.